Manchester United 2, Luton 1, or should I say Luton 1, Manchester United 2. It doesn't matter. Man United have won, and we won away from home. And yes, back to back wins. It's time to be happy. Listen, I don't need to like the football that I'm seeing, but this transition counter-attacking football that the manager is implementing, it's starting to bear fruit. It is. 2 goals today from Hojlund. The kid started the season badly, but he's slowly finding his mojo. He's finding his feet. He's starting to understand when to control the ball, when to back in, when to lay off, when to run, when to make runs, and we're now starting to understand how he wants to play, which is good. 2 goals from him, 1 goal from Morris. Listen, it was an end-to-end game. Either team potentially could have won, but especially in the second half, the chances that we had in the second half, we were put through on goal time after time. I think I counted 3 times we were through on goal 1-1. 1-1 with the goalkeeper, and we couldn't score. There's a lot to talk about. Like I said, the start to the game was frantic. End-to-end start to the game. The first 15 minutes is when all the goals were scored, right? Neither team, especially at the beginning, had control of the game. And to be honest, Man United, the way we play, we don't naturally have control of the game. We want to just transition very quickly. That's how we like to play. We like to play counter-attacking football. That's what the manager has said time and time again. So getting control of the game is something that United, we often struggle with. Today, Luton had more of the territorial advantage, I would say, in terms of the game, in terms of how they played. They probably had more possession in the final third, but they didn't create many opportunities, whereas United, especially in the second half, created opportunity after opportunity. Sometimes a straight ball over the top and we were through. But unlike the first half, the second half, we just could not take our opportunities. There's a lot to talk about today. If you're not... So, before we get into the detail, as usual, guys, smash the like, turn on the notifications, and if you haven't yet subscribe to the channel, grab yourself a drink, a smoke, whatever you want to do, sit back. This is the post-match debrief. On this channel, we say what we see and not how we feel, because bias exists everywhere. We all have bias. So on this channel, we try to look at football as objective or as objectively as possible, right? We have our favorites, but we don't come on the channel and have our Onana hating, Casemiro hating, Sancho hating. Those things don't exist on this channel. It's just objective things. Anyway, let's just talk about the game, guys. Welcome back. Like I said, I hope you had a good week, good day, good weekend. In terms of the lineup, as usual, this seems to be the manager's preferred lineup regardless now. You're usually now seeing Garnacho on the right, Rashford on the left, and Hojlund up front. For me, that front three isn't good enough to win the Premier League or anything like that. But it seems to be the manager's preferred front three. A front three, in my opinion, of chaos. That front three are not good at retaining the ball. They're not going to keep possession. They're not going to rotate the ball. They're just going to get the ball and run and try to attack. Transition. So that front three is perfect for this crazy, what I call the heavy metal Liverpool. Get the ball from back to front as quickly as possible. Quickly transition. And if you don't score, then you go again. There's no sort of Man City or Arsenal, the way they play, where they're a bit more precise with their passing and they're a bit more deliberate. And if a pass is not on, they won't force it. They'll just keep possession of the ball and keep rotating it until they find the opening. That's not how we play. We have Bruno, who wants to just press triangle. Bruno wants to just do the hard pass, do the difficult pass all the time, which means we're going to turn over the ball, and which we have been seeing for the past year and a half. United, we're going to turn over the ball a lot of the times, based on the way we play and based on the way the manager wants us to play and based on the players that we have that are not the most secure with the ball. The players that we play with aren't my favourite players. The players that we play with are more the pace and power players rather than the more technical sound players. I get what the manager wants to do, but I think we're sacrificing one for the other a bit too much. Anyway, so that's my opinion on the team. This is how the manager sees football, and this is what he's going to do. And that's just it. It's not my favourite front three, not my favourite back four, but it is what it is, you know. But the game itself, how did I see the game? So, as I've said in my intro, the first 10-15 minutes was a 10-15 minutes of frantic football, of both teams wanting to play their favoured way, counter-attack, end-to-end, back to front, football as quickly as possible. Both teams were trying to do it. Of course, United have the better players to execute it. I will say this though, as frantic as it was in the first 10-15 minutes, all the goals today were scored due to mistakes. There weren't any goals scored due to brilliant football by either team. The first goal was a misplaced pass by Luton, who let Hojlund in. Hojlund rounded the keeper, slotted home. Blind back pass by Luton. The first minute of the game, good composure from Hojlund. Still a good goal. Still had to take it. Still had to keep his head down, head of the ball. But an easy finish, really. You should really be beating your goalkeeper 1-1. You should. But 5 minutes after that, another goal. We can't complain. This time, it was Garnacho, I believe. Yes, Garnacho shot from the corner. It was going wide. But we have to talk about this, actually. Hojlund's improvisation. Because the ball was going wide and he managed to chest the ball and guide it into the net. And as much as you want to criticise Hojlund for not scoring goals at the beginning and so on and so forth, and his technical ability for me might not be up there. That goal, you have to give him credit for, because that was a good goal. That was not easy to do. 2 goals from Hojlund, 1 goal mistake, another, you can argue, the ball, Garnacho's shot was going wide, right place at the right time. Neither goal was scored by genius, by splitting defences or anything like that. And then 6 minutes later, Morris scored. Once again, Luton scored this goal, and their goal was a deflection. The ball deflected off, I think, one of our players, I believe, ballooned up in the air, fell to Morris, who headed it into the goal, even though Onana tried to approach and Onana tried to be big. The goal went in. So 3 goals in the space of 13 minutes today were scored basically because neither team had control, neither team had, had eased into the game. Neither team knew what the other team was about. So the best time to score goals, and United do this a lot. I noticed at United we try to discombobulate the team very early on, and we try to score very early on. It's almost the best time to score because both teams are just settling in the game. And that's what we saw. 2 teams that didn't know each other. And as soon as we started understanding each other, the game settled down. Defenders started marking properly. Defenders started following their man a bit better. We started to get used to each other. And that's what happens. So, first 30 minutes, frantic. Neither team controlling the game. First 20 minutes, you can argue, neither team controlling the game, both giving up possession quite easily. To be honest, United, as I've said before, are a team that, in my opinion, are not built to retain possession anyway. Right? So neither team controlling the game, frantic end-to-end, all goals were a fluke. But it was entertaining to watch because this is the Premier League, right? Premier League type of football. And to be fair, nothing really changed in the second half. If anything, after those 3 goals were scored, the game settled, as I've said before, and Luton had more of the ball. Luton had more of the territorial advantage. Luton came back into the game, started to probe. They looked like the team that had more composure in the middle of the field than we did. And it's because we, as soon as we get the ball, we're looking to counter-attack, especially with Luton's high line when they had the ball. Luton had more shots in the first half, eventually, as a first half wore on. And like I said, they were just generally more composed on the ball, their midfield, Barkley. However, they didn't create any clear-cut chances in the first half. Even though they scored a goal, that goal wasn't a created chance. And when we go and talk about the second half, despite the fact they were putting United under pressure in the second half, I don't recall many clear-cut opportunities that Luton forged out for themselves. Casemiro and Maguire went off in the second half. Now, Casemiro, I heard Gary Neville on commentary talking very negatively about Casemiro, and I think a lot of the United fan base, I don't know what's happened, because Casemiro went from our best player, being literally our best player last season, to now a player that everybody wants to disrespect. Especially people who don't understand football, especially when many of the times, especially when the season started, he was left alone in the middle because both Mason Mount and Bruno were playing as strikers, basically. When we were playing that stupid 3-1-6 formation that the manager wanted to implement, leaving our DM isolated, and people wanted to talk negatively about one of the best defensive midfielders that we've seen in the last decade. We say what we see here, not how we feel, and we're not going to do no Casemiro hate. If he's played well, we say he's played well. And if he's played badly, we just say he played badly. We won't do no rhetoric, no story, because the thing about football is that we love a story. We love to build a rhetoric. And if once a rhetoric has been built, it's very hard to disprove. It's very hard to dismantle the rhetoric once it's made. Pogba had a rhetoric that even if Pogba scored 100 goals, that story that's been written about him, it sticks. And so confirmation bias kicks in, where you just want to confirm the rhetoric, confirm the story, rather than just say what you see, not how you feel. It's good to feel happy. We all want to feel happy, but don't let the happiness and the feelings make you not believe what you see with your own eyes, right? That's what I'm saying, and that's what the gist of this channel is. We try to look objectively at the game. So second half, as I said, started, and straight away, now this is the second half where, like I said, we created 3 one-on-one opportunities with the goalkeeper, similar to the one that Hojlund scored, but we failed to score in any of them. Onana's pass to Dalot from the goal kick was just amazing. And that is what I thought I would see a lot more of. One ball from the goalkeeper, just like, Man City's goalkeeper and Alisson can do sometimes. One straight ball over the top, through on goal. Dalot, first touch was okay. Second touch, very bad. Goalkeeper smothered. He should have done better with the opportunity, Dalot. We had another opportunity 10 minutes later. Once again, Bruno had the ball this time. I think it was Garnacho's pass to Bruno on the counter-attack. Bruno went round the keeper. Once again, his shot was blocked. Albeit at the same time, when we're having these chances, Luton were the team on the attack, on the offensive. For most of the second half, Luton had most of the ball and once again, most of the territory. But one thing about United, I've said before, is that when we have the high line, when we're being counter-attacked, especially with Maguire sometimes, we look frail. We have got better at getting back into our defensive positions. Dalot sprints back. Maguire sprints back. We've got better at dropping deep. Back 4 on the 18-yard line. Casemiro, Manu sitting. Bruno, we've got a lot better. And if anything, we're reverting back to the type of football, the type of formation that we saw did us so well last season, as opposed to the new 3-1-6 that the manager has tried at the beginning. I think he's got rid of that and he's reverted back to his old ways, hence why we're seeing United get results. like I said, Luton, second half, it was all them. But under counter-attack, many opportunities United had. The last opportunity we had through and goal was Garnacho. We tried to round the goalkeeper. But if anything, you have to give the keeper actually credit. And the reason why I will give the keeper credit is because, to me, it seemed as if every time or each time we got a one-on-one with the keeper did better and better each time, as almost as if he was learning. The first time, Hojlund scored. Second time, Dalot should have done better. Third time, Bruno actually went around the goalkeeper, but it was blocked by the defender. The fourth time, Garnacho tried to go around the goalkeeper and the goalkeeper stopped it. So I think the goalkeeper just got better and better at doing one-on-ones the more he faced them during this game. And United should have done better. Perhaps should have killed the game. And this is where I'm going to bring the manager into the whole thing. I've been negative about the manager for a long time. I'm not a fan of the players he's picking, the football and the style of football that he's chosen to play. I think he's gone away from his own principles to please some sort of fan base, to go back to, what did he say? The United way of old, where we just attacked and whatever. This type of football is not conducive. It might win you the league, but it won't win the league next year. You'll get injuries, you'll get tired. This sort of heavy metal football where you're just running all day long, where you don't have a lot of the ball and you just wait on counter-attacking. It's not sustainable in the very, very long term. It isn't. However, you can actually start seeing what the manager is doing in terms of what he wants us to be, in terms of transition. Get the ball back to front as quick as possible. If we had more composure, if we had better finishes, the game could have easily ended 4-1 today to Man United. So while I can be negative and I can criticize the manager objectively, I could also praise him. And those sort of nuances is what you don't get from other channels. You either hate him or you love him. No, you can objectively criticize a man and also praise him. He's doing some good things, he's doing some bad things. And you can say that without, oh my God, you're going against the manager. Oh my God, you love the manager too much. How about, I don't love him, I don't hate him, I don't know him. He's not my friend. And all I'm doing is saying what I see. And that's it. There's no feelings involved here. And that's where I think as fans, we need to get to. We won't get to there because football is such an emotive sport. It's basically a religion. But I wish we could get there, you know? So, all in all, I'll give the manager a little bit of credit. I think it's still Luton. So we have to put things into perspective that Luton could have equalised and made it 2-2. And we should be beating Luton. But it was away from home. And if we had taken our chances, it could have been more. So once again, just say that's probably how I would summarize the game. A game of frantic beginnings, chances missed at the end to secure the win, but the win was secured, an away win was secured. Luton could find themselves unlucky, perhaps, but they didn't really create much in the first place. So it is what it is. My man of the match today, he played the best today. Kobe. I think out of the whole 90 minutes, he probably had the most solid, consistent performance. I wasn't going to give it to Hojlund because he scored the goals, but I think that's just lazy. Hojlund scored 2 goals, so he's the man of the match. No. He scored 2 goals, but he wasn't the best player. He wasn't the best performer. I think Mainu had a better 90-minute performance. Even though I think he came off at the end. But yeah, I think he had a better performance over the full 90 minutes than Hojlund did. So I'll give it to Kobe. You could give it to Hojlund. I don't mind. You could give it to a defender as well. Yeah, that's how I saw the game. How did you see the game? Once again, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Who was your man of the match? How did you see the game? What's next? What's next for some of our players? We're now approaching March, right? So we're approaching the last third, maybe even last quarter of the season. So we're now starting to think of next season. What are you guys thinking? You know, is this manager here to stay? Why? And if he's not, tell me why. I want your opinions below, please. Thank you guys for watching as usual. Hope tongue twister there. Hope you've enjoyed my ramblings, my insights, my analysis, my thoughts on the game. Let me know your thoughts. That's all. Keep it moving. And yeah, hope to see you guys next time. Have a good evening. Have a good day. And yeah, love. Love them. Peace, people.
If you're not ready